Hey guys, today we're building an entire AI-powered web app from scratch without writing a single line of code. It'll be a chat interface powered by an n8n AI agent, and then we'll connect a database where you can store user data, chat history, and so on and so forth. So before we dive in, I should mention that I personally built and sold over 80 grand worth of automation systems in just the past 6 months using tools very similar to what I'm about to show you. And so this is what I mean when I say you should build AI infrastructure, not just agents. Agents are good, but this is the infrastructure that we're going to build on top of the agents. So in today's video, we're going to cover an overview of the architecture and understanding how the different tools connect. Then we're going to be writing the perfect prompt. So we're going to be using Claude and the Lovable prompting Bible to craft a perfect Lovable prompt. And then we're going to build the front end with Lovable, helping it craft the user interface. We're going to set up the database, configure Supabase for that. And then we're going to be creating the n8n AI agent to craft a perfect Lovable prompt. And then we're going to build the front end with Lovable, helping it craft the user interface. We're going to set up the database, configure Supabase for that. And then we're going to be creating the n8n AI agent that we're going to connect to Lovable. And we'll connect everything via webhook. And we're going to test it out. We're going to build the whole thing on this video using Lovable, Supabase, and n8n. So even if you're a beginner or someone a bit more technical, but doesn't know how to build software, I highly suggest you follow along because we'll be going through everything step by step, as easy as possible, and so you can just follow along here. So let's dive right into this. So in here, we're going to be building our own basically MVP of an AI SaaS with zero coding. So again, we're using Lovable and n8n, and we're going to be using Lovable release their prompting guide, their prompting Bible. So we're basically just going to plug and play this into a Claude project or a Claude chat, and we're going to write a really solid prompt here. And this is what it's going to look like. Like I said, write the prompt, build the front end, Lovable for the front end, Supabase, n8n, and we're going to have a chat interface, and we're going to connect everything via webhook. And so let's dive into Lovable now. I'm going to go to lovable.dev, and here's the chat interface. And so I'm going to start with the Lovable prompting Bible. The URL is this. I'll put it in the comments or docs below. And so I'm going to go into Claude now. So when I'm in Claude, I basically just copy and pasted this entire prompting Bible from Lovable, and I'm going to paste this in here. I'm just going to say, this is the Lovable prompting Bible. Save this in the documentation. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to write a Lovable prompt for a specific app that we're building. So we're kind of just setting the context for Claude here. I don't think we need a project because it's just this one knowledge base, so we just pasted it into the chat. It's giving us some information about the effective prompting technique. And now we just need to define it, what we're going to build. And so boom, examples, training wheels, prompting, meta prompting. And so in terms of what we're going to build today, I figured that we'd just build some sort of chat interface. A lot of people ask me, like, how do I build like a chat bot that integrates with my website? We're just going to build some sort of chat interface. The different types of things that it can do, we can think about that as we go. But I just kind of wanted to build this on the fly here and build out some sort of chat interface where we can interact with it. And then it takes stuff from our n8n AI agent. Maybe it has our product knowledge base. Maybe it has all of our information, that we've set up inside of n8n. So any of the workflows that, you can build in n8n, my team is putting together hundreds of templates right now. And so kind of the philosophy here is not to build the n8n workflow from scratch, but to use these templates from n8n that you find, and then to connect a front end to it. And you can basically have all these template workflows in n8n that you're connecting to front end interfaces. And you can build this out custom for each client. So I'm going to say, so help me write a prompt for a product that is focused on, it's a chat interface. And so we're going to have the chat interface be the core feature. We're going to make sure that whenever someone sends a chat, it sends that message as a webhook to as a payload into that webhook. And then whenever we get a response from that webhook, that is going to be the response to the user. And so we can start out with a sample piece of text that we're just going to have add in there, and then we're going to connect it to the webhook. The goal of this should be that the chat goes in and we're interacting with the someone's project knowledge base inside of n8n. we're getting a response. And so let's just start out with a very simple chat window, and we will build features out on top of that. So write me a prompt that's going to accomplish that core objective. So boom, I'm adding this in here. It's just going to town with different stuff. I'm just going to stop this chat window right here, and then I'm gonna ask it to write me a prompt. So now Quad is writing me a prompt for Lovable prompt, AI knowledge base stack, front end, style, core features, chat interface, webhook integration, messaging, typing indicators. So it's basically using that knowledge base that we just took from Lovable's documentation and adding it in. So now I'm going to copy this. So yeah, it looks pretty solid. So let's go into Lovable, and let's paste this in here and just click go and see what happens. So now inside of Lovable, we have this prompt that we had Quad write us. Pretty solid. It should be a really solid jumping off place. And while that's happening, I'm going to go into n8n and start actually building out these this webhook. And so I'm going to go in here, sign into n8n. We're going to create a new workflow, and we're going to click personal. And basically, we just want to set up a basic webhook here so we can call and receive responses from that Lovable application. And this is the webhook URL that we're going to give it. So we're going to start with a webhook. We could probably use the production URL to get started. It was going to be a post request. The authentication should be none. This is very important. Make sure the authentication is done. None. Use responding to webhook node. And then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a respond to webhook node. Boom. And the response is I believe it's the first incoming item here. Response headers, respond with. We could do all incoming, but I think we could respond with text, and we can add in the text from the agent. But for now, let's just respond with all incoming items. And for the post request, it needs to be use responding to webhook node. And so now this should work, and we should be able to just call this webhook from Lovable. So Lovable is still spinning up our application for us. It says a clean modern chat interface, message history, typing indicators, mobile first. And it's writing all of this out for us. And so Lovable is great. It takes, a few minutes per prompt because, it's trying to build out a full application for us. So with that being said, here it is. Boom. All right. So we have a pretty basic chat interface here. So I'm just going to say testing webhook URL not configured. Okay. Now I'm going to say, now configure the webhook URL. This is the URL we want to send the queries to. Did I not copy it? So we're going to go to n8n. We're going to go here, waiting to call the test URL. All right. I don't know if we can actually see what's happening in the scenario unless it's a test URL. So let's just configure the test one first. We're going to listen for a test event, and we're going to give it this URL here. And so we're giving it this URL. It's going to work. Looking at the session replay, I can see the webhook URL has already been configured. Testing. But how has it been configured if I just give it the information? I'll just say, please reconfigure the webhook URL as this is a new URL. So let's make sure that it's configured correctly. So I'm basically just saying, you said that you set it up, but you actually didn't. So let's redo this. I'll update the URL configuration. It's going into the constant variable, use chat, sending it to this place. So we're writing the webhook config.tsx. And so let's see if that works. Not configured. I see. Okay. Testing it wants me to configure it. Interesting. It wants me to configure it in this panel over here, which is really interesting, which probably we don't want as the end result of what we're doing here. All right, so that one says it's sent successfully. Let's check our webhook. Boom, you can see we got this, and it received the information correctly, and we want to respond to it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add an AI agent inside of, like, in between these two nodes. So this AI agent, we're going to give it a chat model. We're going to give it OpenAI. All right. I think this test should work. We'll see. I have so many API keys in here, I forget. And then as long as it has OpenAI, it should be good. We're going to say it's going to be a tools agent. We're going to define the prompt source. And we're going to say inside of here, we should have a message somewhere. Testing. Okay, so we're going to say, what type of thing do we want it to do? So we want it to have access to some of our tools. We want to have access to different things here. And so we're going to give it, obviously we want to put this message in here. So I'm going to drag and drop message into the text box. And I'm going to say, let's just say for now, just to test this out, respond to this message as if you are Socrates. Just want to do something to test this out. And then it's going to take the respond with a single text message body, execute previous nodes. Let's test this out. I think I need to make sure that the test workflow is configured. Let's test. Should add some information. And it says the service is insufficient quota. My OpenAI account, I told you one of the API keys. Test AI agent demo, that might work. Oh, I think I have to configure this, which I didn't do before. GPT-4o mini. Okay, now let's try to test this out again. You don't have access to the credentials in the OpenAI chat, so this is probably someone else, one of my team members. There we go. Might have to add a new key in there. Yeah, I'm gonna stop this video. I'm gonna grab a new API key for OpenAI just to make sure we can access it. All right, we're back. Had to take the dog for a walk. He was going crazy, but we're back here. We're gonna continue building this out. So we have the webhook. It's consistently sending that information to the webhook. Let's test it out. Test. Let me test it. Boom. It's testing it. The agent, it's responding. The only thing is it's not actually retrieving the message. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to say, when sending to the webhook, this is an n8n AI agent. So after we send this information to the webhook, the next thing we're going to want to do is take whatever information we retrieve from the webhook, whatever the webhook response is, and that will be the system message that this knowledge assistant is returning. So can we set that up? All right, so once we send the webhook over to n8n, it's retrieving a response. And so we want to make sure that actually the response goes back into the system that we're building out. So this is working. And while this is working, I want to start building out and configuring some stuff inside of n8n. It looks like it might have already, actually, yeah, let's test it out. Looks like it might have already fixed it. So let's test it. I'm going to say testing. It's responding. It's failing to retrieve the message. And then I think it's because the JSON is not in the correct format. So we're just going to go back to n8n over here. We're going to see if it's because of the JSON. And I'm basically just going to copy this JSON. So I believe I can just go in here, copy, and then I'm going to go into Lovable, and I'm going to say, this is the exact response output of a JSON response that the agent is returning whenever we send a webhook request. And so can we make sure that we're checking for this specific type of webhook response in order to add it into the chat interface correctly. All right, we want to make sure it's set up correctly here. We're going to test that out. So one of the things that I wanted to build out is, here, one sec. So one of the things that I wanted to build out is I basically wanted to be able to scrape LinkedIn jobs, and we can interface with this chat interface, and we could say, hey, go find me available LinkedIn jobs for, you know, this niche, this whatever we're working towards. And so I wanted to create this using something called Bright Data. If you ever use Appify, this is like a supercharged version of Appify. And so if we go in here, we'll basically see, if we go and create an account inside of Bright Data, we can see that there's all these scrapers just like Appify, Indeed, ZoomInfo, Glassdoor, PitchBook, but we can basically just search different web scrapers here. And so depending on what the scrapers are, let's see what types of scrapers they have. Let's go into a new scraper, browse scraper marketplace. And so let's do like a LinkedIn job, LinkedIn. I like the job by keyword. Where is it? LinkedIn profiles, posts, people, posts, job listings discovered by URL, job listings discovered by keyword. So let's use that. We're going to choose Scraper API here. And that's going to give us all this information. The ideal result is we'll get the URL, job posting ID, title, company, company name, company new URL, job location, job summary. So this could be a lot of interesting information if we wanted to hook up our resume, information about us, and then this chat interface could just say, go find me jobs, write me, you know, an application to this job, and it's like a job hunting tool. So the API request builder is here. What you're going to do is you're going to need an API key from Bright Data. So we're going to go in here into account settings, and then there's API keys. We're going to click refresh, copy this API key, and then now we have that in here. Now we're going to go back to the web scraper. I believe it was the, where did it go? Go back to new, browse scrapers, LinkedIn job listings discovered by keyword. So we're going to go back into this. We're going to go into the API request builder. We're going to paste in our token in here, and that's basically going to allow us to scrape this information. And we can just do a manual scrape at the beginning just so we can get data into our scenario so we can start testing it out. So if I'm going to create an HTTP request here, we're going to copy all of this. So click this copy button, and this is a curl that we can just import straight into n8n. If you pasted the API key in, it should just, you click import, it all imports it directly in here. And let's test this step out. Boom. So it started the scraper. So let me just rename this as start LinkedIn job scraper. Boom. And once we start it, if we go into the logs here, we should see it. So you can see it's running. I don't know what parameters we actually put in here. So if I go into start, we're looking for Paris product manager, time range, past month, full-time internship, on-site, New York, Python developer, etc. I don't know if we set a limit on how many we're going to get, but I'm just going to use an old one that I used for this same tool. So ideally, we would set up an MCP server with this agent connected to Bright Data and just let it connect to that. But I don't want to go too complex in this video because the primary purpose of this video is building out the software, the interface, the connections. I'll have more advanced videos later where we'll actually set up the MCP. So what I want to do in this scenario is just get a bunch of data into this scraper. Maybe we can scrape like 500 jobs, and I just want the agent to be able to access the stuff that we're scraping. And so what I want to do is, here's the snapshot ID. What I want to go into the management APIs. If you go into delivery options here, we can actually just download whatever, information that we have from this scraper. So go into logs. The new one is ready. We're going to copy that. So copy snapshot ID, go into management APIs. We're going to copy that in here. We're going to paste the API key, paste the snapshot ID. We're going to choose JSON as the file format. We're going to copy this. And this is the API request we're going to run. I think I just ran one similar, but let me restart it. Boom. Was that the right one? So this is going to be like get jobs. So it's a get function. the URL, if you import the curl, all of this will show up for you. And so we're going to test this out and see if it works. Boom. All right, we got 106 jobs into this scraper now, into this scenario. And so we could just add this directly into the scenario, but what I want to do is I want to connect this directly via the agent. And so we can't actually import, but I'm just going to say, call this request whenever you want to get a bunch of information about LinkedIn jobs that we can use and that we can refer to. So call this request. It's going to be a get request, and I'm basically just going to take this. This is the get jobs bright data, and so this get jobs. I'm basically just going to copy and paste all of this manually. So I'm going to go into the URL. I'm going to paste that. No authentication. I'm going to go in here, format JSON as the query parameters, and then authorization API key as the other one. So I'm going to go format JSON. So query parameters. Format, we're going to hard code it, JSON, send headers, authorization, and then hard code it. And then this will basically just give it we'll basically just be able to pull this, and then whenever we want to do this manually, that's how that will look. And so let's actually just try to run this and see if it works. Let's also update this. So what we want to do here is we want to put the JSON body message, and we basically just want to say, you are an AI agent and you have access to one HTTP node where you can get a bunch of information about LinkedIn jobs. So whenever you need to get information about LinkedIn jobs, use the HTTP node to do so. All right, so that's the system message. Let's actually test this out now. We're waiting for a trigger. Let's go back to our system. We're going to say get LinkedIn jobs for me. And boom, it's getting the jobs from the agent. It's going back to the chat model, and then it should respond to the webhook. Maybe it will even give us the chat message back if Lovable fixed that error. So it's going in, it's trying to get information, still running. Boom, let's go. I found a list of LinkedIn jobs. Here are some highlights. There's the product marketing chef. I don't want to do this in French. It's giving me like French, or it's giving me some. Here's the apply code. And so maybe we have it parse it. So it's just, I found a list of all this stuff. Maybe we say, whenever outputting this information, make sure to structure it in a way that's easy to understand. And so make sure that the chat message is, and the output message rather, is formatted and structured in a way where I can see this information systematically and clearly. Okay, let's try that again now. Test workflow, get me LinkedIn, find me some LinkedIn jobs and give me some information about them. So it's going to be running this agent. It's getting the jobs. The agent is figuring out how to format it now. And the webhook response should go directly into this chat interface. Still thinking, still thinking, still thinking. Respond to webhook. Boom. All right. So it tried to format it, but it still looks a little crazy. Maybe we just say, find me just one LinkedIn job. I just want to see one LinkedIn job and information about it. Oh yeah, we're using test mode, so you have to click test trigger every time. We'll put it in production mode in a second. So I'm going to say, find me this information. It's going to go over to the agent. It's going to use the bright data scraper to get information about the jobs. And then it's going to think of what the response is going to be. And I just want it to give me one job. Boom, here's the LinkedIn detailed information about this job. And maybe what I could say here is, rather than whether outputting, I'm going to say output format, and I'm going to say, ensure that you're formatting this for plain text, add ample paragraph breaks, and make sure that the output will look nice in a plain text environment. So let's test this out. All right, let's try this one more time. what we could potentially do is we could add some sort of application system where we connect a bunch of APIs to this agent, and then we say, hey, go actually apply to this job for me. If we connect enough MCP servers, we could easily do that. And so if we're going to test this out one more time, AI agent, get jobs, respond. Here's one LinkedIn job posted 2 weeks ago. Boom. So not bad, not bad. I think the next thing that we could do is we could give Lovable more context on this because we have clarity as well. So I could say, let's rebuild this software application. The goal is now that we're getting information about LinkedIn jobs. So just help me come up with any features that would be relevant to an AI chat interface, a knowledge assistant that has access to my resume, has access to my job experience, and that can go and we can find jobs to apply to. We can create cover letters, and we can maybe even apply to those jobs automatically within this interface. So let's build out a new version of this application with those features and that objective and use case in mind. All right, so this is kind of V1. It wants me to pay. Let me do that real quick. Okay, there we go. I just paid for the premium plan. I use Lovable enough at this point. I think it makes sense to upgrade. So, all right, so I'm asking it to rebuild this software application with these goals and features in mind. And so let's see what it ends up spinning up in here. Okay, so after letting it run for about a minute or two, it built out this new job assistant where we have chat assistant. It's finding jobs. It's taking our resume in here that we're adding, job applications, job search, front-end developer. It's going and finding these jobs for us. I think this is the one. No, I think it's probably random data, the chat assistant. So all this is being built out for us. Now, if I go in the chat assistant, the chat is all the way to the left here. So I'm just going to screenshot this and say like, go back here and I'm going to say, the chat window is going over the sidebar. Let's fix this, please. And then I want it to just save all of the chat information or all of my applications or job search in Supabase. And so we want to have a Supabase connection here. And so we're just going to ask it to, we're just going to build out a Supabase connection. All right, so the chat window is going to be fixed. It's going to be fixing this. And then I'm going to say, now can we connect Supabase, please? And whenever it's done, I'm just going to queue that message up. And so let's go into Supabase. We're just going to create a new organization, a new org, a new team. And I'm just going to be setting up some stuff here. So we're going to set up like a new table. New table. It's just going to be called the like job support application. Web app, backend ID created at, we could probably add more columns later, but let's just save this table. I just basically want to create the connection here so we can save information in Supabase. So now if I go in here, I fix the issue, boom, it's looking a little better. Can we connect Supabase? And so we're going to connect Supabase as the backend. Let me go into the front end and see what it looks like now. If we go in here, it looks like this, and I'm just going to test this out, this new user interface out. So we're going to go into n8n. Let's go into this n8n scenario. I'm going to test the workflow again. I'm going to say, find me jobs. We're going to see if that works. Let's go back into n8n. Find me jobs. It's going and getting the jobs. Should respond to the webhook with some jobs here. We should see it show back up in a second. And again, you can see like, okay, we want it to find jobs. We want it to use my resume. It's going to be simple. We're going to add in some of the vector databases in our tools. We're going to add a bunch more workflows or API calls in here. We're going to create this more elaborately. So why is this taking so long? There we go. Boom, it found me all these jobs. Again, find recommendations based on my resume. And so then we can give it our resume, job search, and we can basically build out individual workflows for each of these. So if the resume is submitted, add it to a vector database, add it to Supabase, associate it with the user, whatever. It's trying to connect a Supabase integration. So it looks like we want to connect the Postgres database into our app. So we're going to create a new project in Supabase, and then we're going to initiate the integration. I believe it's right here, connect Supabase. We're going to connect, and I'm just going to sign into this dummy account that I just created. We're going to authorize API access, authorize Lovable, and then boom, we're creating the Supabase integration here. And then inside of the Supabase integration, now it should be integrated with Supabase. So we're connected, we're connecting to our project. Boom, now we're connected. And so now can you basically come up with which fields that we need from this application to add into Supabase? And can we make sure that we build out the Supabase integration correctly? Okay, and then it's going to basically help us build out the Supabase integration. And let's set this to production. Let's set this to prod here. So what I want to do is I want to take the production URL, boom, and I want to set this to active, and I'm going to click save. Got it, workflow activated. And now I'm just going to say, now can we update all of the webhook integrations to send to and receive from this webhook? This is the production webhook, so this is what we want to use. So it's giving us a Supabase data structure so that we know, like, we're going to add in users, we're going to add in all sorts of stuff here, different types of integrations, different aspects of our table. So I want to wrap it up pretty soon here. I know we're going pretty long, but I just want to make this production ready so you can see what it looks like. I'll have more videos in the future where we actually go in maybe like a 2-hour or 3-hour video where we go start to finish and we connect, for this one, knowledge bases and resumes and job search and applications. We set up all of the MCP servers and API calls from start to finish. And so I'm going to have it apply these. It looks like it's applying this to Supabase. So I'm having it apply the changes to Supabase. And then once it's finished, we're going to add in the webhook in here. So basically just had it integrate Supabase for me, and now it's adding in this feature right here of creating an account. So let me just test Ethan Nelson, Ethan, my junk email, password, create account created, check for the sign up link. Okay, I'm gonna make sure that we update this as well. Now if we go over here to Supabase, we have education, experiences, interviews, applications, profiles. All of these are being associated with each user that we have. And now if I go into my email, I'm going to try to sign in. So boom, I just signed in. I have my account. We probably have account details up here, or this is actually the webhook configuration, which I can probably, sounds like update manually. We're going to need to take that out of the actual app. There's some warnings in Supabase. Let me test this out. Testing. Let's see if that goes into production now. Let me go into n8n. Let's see if it's executing. So it should be executing on the backend now whenever it receives a new webhook call. If not, we can make sure the production environment is ready. Production URL. Boom, let's set it to production to live, save, testing, and for this app, let me refresh this. Let me make sure that this is the updated config. Testing. So we should see this being executed. 11:08, that looks good. Hey, it looks like you're testing. How can I assist you? Find me jobs for LinkedIn. So now because we connected Supabase, we have the login people can log in and get their credentials. It is with our, it's all based on our, there we go, we have another run. We have another run. This time it's going. It's probably the one that we just did. Boom, here's information. So this is pretty much the finished app, guys. The new person creates an account, they sign in. So I create an account. When I go to this, I'm gonna put in my email, and then I'm gonna click sign in. Boom, sure. And then it's connected in production. So if I click testing, it should just say, wait a minute, and then it'll say like, boom, find me some jobs on LinkedIn. And then it's gonna go search. And then we have the resume, job search, application, etc. And this is all connected using n8n, and it's pretty insane if you ask me. And if we go into Supabase here, just as like kind of a last thing, if we go into Supabase, you can see, I think there probably should be some new users in here. Like if we go to the auth schema, where is the extensions, GraphQL? If we go into the public, all right, there we go. So we can see user signed in. All these user requests are being logged in here. And then for the public one, we should see job support web app, job applications, profiles. My profile is in here. My resumes, save jobs, etc. This is basically a full web app, guys. And this is just to find jobs. We could build this for 100 other different use cases. We could build custom interfaces for clients, whatever it is. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys got a lot of value out of it. This is exactly what we're doing on live calls inside of this community. I have one in 19 minutes that we're about to run with n8n. But basically we have a bunch of people jumping in here every single day. We're building out workflows, and my team is putting together a list of like hundreds and hundreds of agents. We have about all the agents that I built on this channel. We have them in here. But we're actively building out an AI agent library. We're basically finding every AI agent we can find on the internet, adding them in here. We only have 20 right now, but it's going to be hundreds within a matter of weeks. And so the goal here, guys, is not that like you want to understand the fundamentals, but once you understand the fundamentals, you just want to plug and play different templates and resources, build them out in these front end systems. Like imagine we have this front end system. Imagine we gave it access to 2 or 3 of these different workflows. This front end interface, this software would be 10 times better. And so inside of here, we have calls every single week. We're doing 4 calls this week. Tomorrow, vibe marketing, live AI system build, AI business strategy, Q&A, that sort of stuff. And we're revamping the whole course structure right now to make it more of a progression to get you from where you are now to a functioning AI business. But as of right now, there's just prompt engineering courses, marketing systems, sales systems, mental models, all the recordings of our workshops, and then kind of the basics of building agents inside of n8n. So go check it out. I'll see you down there. If not, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you got value out of it, and I will see you next time.